Hi everyone, you're listening to the Vialucci podcast, uncensored and completely unedited discussions about life and everything in it. We hope you enjoy the show.
Give it that elastic band. That's a cracking opener to the show. Well, it's more of that to come, ladies and gentlemen.
Where were we?
Hi everyone.
Where was I? Yeah, hello
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we're
Hi.
back. So
I love we're just glossing over.
I was 46 days.
Yeah.
As I said before, in a travel tavern, in a stop-off point.
Are you allowed to say which
46
one? Was it one of the...
Travelodge.
Oh, was it Travelodge? I
Yeah.
can remember.
Dented back of the car. Somebody hit my car with the back of the door. Somebody scraped the front of it.
What, in the car park at Travelodge?
Yeah. Stunk of sewage every 2 days outside.
Cool.
So if you're going to do things on the cheap, when I saw the dent, I thought, good, that's taught me a lesson. Don't go with just the problem with going somewhere where everything's cheap is
There's a reason why.
because everyone that doesn't want to spend any money goes to that place. So I thought, right, good, serve you right. But I thought I'd only be there for like 6-7 days, so a month and a half in.
But you do have a home now, do you?
Well, I've got a roof over my head. Yes, I've moved I had to go out of London because I refuse to live in a room. I'm not living like a bloody animal. I'm not doing it. So I've just go further out, travelling. I took a lot of juggling to find somewhere, so I just got a studio outside of...
Milton Keynes, yeah?
No, not that far. I'll tell you what, I looked. It got to that point where I'm thinking, nothing's getting cheaper because everybody...
A studio is a room, isn't it, though?
Well,
Right.
yeah, it's separate toilet, separate kitchen, but basically it's a room with a... everything all right,
Yeah. As long as it's recorded, as long as you got my audio, it's fine.
So
Apparently our audio doesn't matter.
yeah,
No, I'm
when
teasing.
is it ever?
No, teasing.
So last week I moved into the place, and that's. Well, I moved in to the hotel the last time we recorded this show.
I think you've just been in, yeah.
Because it was the morning before we did the show. I was running up and down 3 flights of stairs with all my stuff to go and put it in storage and put it into the hotel. The last time we recorded. So that's how long ago I've been in the hotel. It was a novelty wore off after about a week and a half. And I just thought, this is pathetic.
Did you settle into the one, because you kept having to move rooms, didn't you? Because it was like...
Oh no, that continued. I moved about 6 times. And the worst thing is, the last place I moved in, the last sort of stretch, was the best room I'd had, which annoyed me because it was on the 7th floor.
Just the one dead person under the bed.
So it's the highest. So not a lot of people went up there. They say they don't put people on the top floor because that's all where the machinery is and the air conditioning right at the top.
Well, it also means for things like if they need to go and do stuff, fix the TV, they've got to also
Well, the storage was literally, mine was at the top, right down the far end. And I thought, that's fine, I'm not bothered about noise. People is what annoys me. So just stick me in the closet where nobody goes. But I liked it. It was 7th floor up. So I was literally looking down my nose at people. Physically and socially.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Bunch of ants, yeah.
Yeah, I could see my car from there, so I'd just have a peek at every now and again in the dark car park.
Just watch it get more and more dented and...
Oh, the dent, I thought... I knew it. Serves you right.
Did someone kick it or?
No, I think where a door opened, it looks like that. It just
Oh.
bang, and then somebody
Classic.
scraped the front as well when they must have been trying to pull out. So I'm parking at the furthest point away because it has to
finding
go.
you.
People are stupid, so I have to go out of my way to not be around stupid people. But I don't do things on the tight-fisted. But it's because I was there for so fucking long, I didn't really have a choice.
Well, yeah, you probably thought if I'm just going to be here a week, I don't need to
yeah.
stress about.
I literally booked every single week. I thought, right, and then it was a week. I never booked 2 weeks. A week, I'll get out of here a week, and then a problem, and another problem, another problem, and then I was there for 42 days, 46 days actually.
I stayed in a hotel a while back, and I realised it was being used by the government to house asylum seekers. And
You've already ruined my story. It's a better story.
And it was because there were loads of weird people hanging around everywhere, and there was a guy.
When you say weird,
I was going to follow up. I thought I'd let that go.
I don't know.
It's
Not from England, you mean?
Well, no, it's a lot of weird people. There's a dude praying in
Oh, it's getting worse.
Stuff.
It's getting worse. Don't think any.
Fair enough, but I just think.
Don't say anything.
Don't you have a room?
No, I'm not going to go down that road. I was going to go.
I don't know. And they had they had one toilet on the whole floor. They had sort of 40 rooms, and they had one toilet on the floor.
I forget it.
And they only had one bog roll.
So hold on, the rooms didn't have their own toilets.
No, I don't stay in places where you get your own toilet. That costs far too much.
Can you say the name of the hotel?
I can't remember it.
Because that doesn't sound like a hotel. One room. Is that a bed sit?
It's like a hostel.
Crack house, really?
It was inside.
Brothel,
wasn't it?
yeah.
It was a park. You were at.
It was a long time ago. I think it was.
Oh, right.
central London somewhere. It was very cheap. It's like 20 quid. You get what you pay for, really.
Oh.
And I didn't, I didn't pay much. And guess what? I didn't get much.
Yeah. That would be a no from me. I'll be like, no, I want my own toilet.
I'll sleep in the park.
It was better than the one that was being used, and they had the sex workers next door.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Slightly,
story. Yeah,
slightly better.
I'm sorry. What? Remind me what?
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, they were using sex workers were using the room next to me.
Oh yes,
I had the single room without any. I rented this single room for a bit, and it didn't have any windows. It was like a prison cell. It was like it was awful.
Yeah, you can't have that. You can't have windows.
I mean, the law says you cannot not have windows.
Is that a legal thing? Then?
Yeah, you have to have windows.
Okay, well, I didn't have any windows. And at night sometimes I was coming back. I was filming somewhere, and I was coming back late, and then I used to try and get to sleep to the noise of people negotiating a price, and then having
mattress springs,
very loud sex next to me, and then having a shower and a regretful
I do remember
shower
this now.
afterwards,
Yeah.
Just got used to the arguing, change being jingled, bed springs, and a shower.
Oh, not change. I really hope it's not like.
What was that in? What was the Carry On film? Is it King Henry with King Henry? No, Carry On Henry.
Yeah.
When he gets he chases the woman. I mean, it sounds horrendous now. It's like the comedy where he chases the woman, like they're all on horses, and he gets her in the barn, and he goes, "Oh, you have to pay handsomely for my favours." He goes, "I've got a crown," and she goes, "Oh, I ain't got any change."
The thing is, I don't know how that, because you're like, how much is in a crown anyway?
I no idea.
Well, they were nearer to the crown money than we were back then when it was filmed.
I watched Carry On Cleo, I think it was the other week.
Okay,
that was Egyptian, Roman centurions, Cleopatra. You get the gist.
Yeah.
Is that the infamy they've got?
Yes,
Infamy,
good stuff.
One of the greatest lines ever.
Infamy. Lovely stuff. A lot of blackface in it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when you watch films with that, isn't it?
And I was like, okay.
Well, there's things that are said in there that I can't even repeat on here.
Casual things.
But it's usually by the gay guys. You go, right, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Because they had that in Porridge. There were a lot of jokes about it was Christopher Biggin's character. I forget the character's name now.
Oh yeah.
And there were lots of jokes. So initially you go, oh, this is, I guess Porridge is what, the 70s?
Yes.
And it's not like they introduce him with some, homophobic slur. Be like, oh, okay, they've got a gay character in here, and he's liked by all the other characters. He's not sort of put upon or whatever, everything like that. And then every once in a while they say a joke, and you're like, yikes!
One of the things that I used my time up with when I was stuck in the hotel, because a couple of them didn't have TVs in, right? Mm-hmm. So there was then when I get a TV in another room, and I go, oh god, and then sometimes the internet wouldn't be working. And there was just a bed and a TV.
You're forced to watch the TV.
And I thought, right, let me do this thing that I do every few years where I've been away from it long enough. Let me just sit down. And literally, I never enjoy anything. It's always like a study of let's see what's going on. Thank God there was running Star Trek TOS that I would go to for normality. Like I could try. I know what that is. I can relax. It's ridiculous. So I would have to go to that every now and again just to switch off from what I'd seen. So I would watch, and it's always worse than you think. Like I knew what it was, and I take the piss with the reality TV.
I imagine you sat there like Ozymandias with like 20 different screens with the sound on.
Oh, you mean switching through the channels is what you're doing?
Yeah, just to see what is going on in the world. Let me look at it. Anything that I'd remembered had become like a freak show. They'd always become caricatures of themselves.
Yeah, I guess so.
The more lighting, the more they're acting up for the camera. You go, well, that used to be a sort of mildly reality, and now it's bollock. The Man versus Food. You know that one where the guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking
he doesn't do that anymore, does he?
I think he had a heart attack.
Yeah, he basically just said it got too much because he kept having to starve himself in order to do the challenges, and so he'd get enormously fat, and then he'd have to.
But there's so many things I was watching where in my head I'm going, oh, this is we are in a joke now. This is like all the channels I'm going, it's like a joke. And the Man versus Food, I thought, this is why the Western cultures are hated. You've literally got a bloke shoving food into his face until he throws up.
I've never understood.
That's like Colosseum type stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I remember I was in I was in some weird sort of frontier town in the Saharan desert, like in Morocco, and we're in a shack getting a cup of coffee or something because nothing else to do there. I mean, there's no booze. So, I mean, right, it's going to have a cup of coffee. Cool. The 10th one today. And I remember sat there in the shack watching Super Sweet 16 with a bunch of very angry looking Moroccan,
So what's this? It
like
doesn't sound Super Sweets.
Bedouin nomads who just literally come off like a camel train from Timbuktu. And they were just like staring dags at this thing.
What is Super Sweet 16?
Super Sweet 16 was a hateful program. I don't know how
Is
much.
that what it said on the poster?
No, I don't know how in on the joke they were. It was basically the worst American teenagers having a sort of a birthday party to celebrate their 16th birthday. And
Okay.
they'd behave absolutely awfully, like the most diva kind of.
Okay, so they
behaviour
were
you've ever
quite
seen.
bratish, I
Yes,
suppose.
yes,
Right,
yes.
okay.
You know, it's worth watching some compilations because you're just like,
I don't think I need that.
I think you would make it 30 seconds in. You'd just be like, no, not for me.
There was a fishing one that I saw, like, you know, the bloke on the fishing
Is
ship.
it the River Monsters one?
No.
Greatest Catch.
Don't know. There seemed to be a few of them that I'd seen, like people on a boat. One was America, one was in England, on the boat going up and down, somebody throwing up.
And like ice road truckers, and then they had the
all that
the
sort of
cut.
stuff.
They sort of fetish. It was weird because they sort of had a period where they fetishized sort of working Joes doing average jobs. You know, that was popular for a while.
But this one, I just turn it on, and it's the ship, and he's moaning about the catch and all that, and they jokingly doing this thing where you cut the head off the fish, and then you have to drink the blood, and the blood, and then he goes, "Bleh," and he throws up, and I was thinking, what the fuck?
It's very strange, isn't
Like,
it?
this is like, what? This is on TV during the day. This isn't like some weird YouTube video that you found in the dark web.
Have you ever chatted to a fisherman though?
No.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're on the sea.
I chatted to a bloke years ago when I was
Hello to all our listeners.
when I was doing security on the pub,
high seas.
and there was a guy there, and he was telling me he's in what's the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
And he said he was a fisherman. He gave me all these stories about being a fisherman in Foreign Legion. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And he's usually like one of these alcoholics that was at the bar in a shithole pub that I used to work in. So I ended up talking to him. I saw a massive fight out. But anyway, so I'm chatting to him for about over a year. He's telling me all these stories about fishermen and this and the Foreign Legion he got in there. And then the manager, when he said to me, oh no, he's full of shit. He's always lying. And I thought, the amount of stories that bloke's told me, and it was just all made up. He said, no, he's an alcoholic, he just makes stories up. He's been saying them. I thought, 8 months worth of stories I've been listening to.
Did you realise when you, like, halfway through your run on Star Trek, you were like, hold on, this William Shatner guy isn't...
No, but I did see there's Columbo's were on as well, and he popped up on a couple of them.
Oh, of course.
Do you know when somebody puts on there's always some bloke who's a celebrity or something, and he's going to kill somebody, and he gets dressed up and hides and whatever. When I saw it, I thought he was already in the sort of burglar costume, like the hiding costume with his little tash on.
Oh, no.
That was clearly stuck on.
Well, like a little rubbish
Yeah,
disguise.
but then no, that was before he did the burglary. That was it. The way I thought that looks fake as anything.
There's a good one with Leonard Nimoy as well, where he was a
I don't
surgeon
remember
or
that.
something, I think, and he was hiding the bottles of drugs under the
I
sink.
mean, the
and
thing
stuff.
is, it's always with Columbo, you're like, well, I mean, I know they show you
Yeah.
the murderer, but any of those kind of shows, you know, Murder, She Wrote, Poirot, even you go, who's the most famous person in
Who's
it?
the guest
'Cause
star this week?
They're the
Yeah,
killer,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was funny because Shatner, even then, he was just him. And he can't do anything else other than just be him. Like, it was just basically the Kirk, but in like LA.
Yeah.
He's got no acting skills.
The thing is, I think he actually got quite good when he got older, especially when he was playing old Kirk, like in the films. But yeah, it's very theatrical and over the top.
He's a complete ham, isn't he? In those,
I was.
Some of
Do
them
you
is,
know what?
yeah.
I was watching something. I was thinking with the Columbos, because they will make like the 50s and 60s, that sort of 70s. No, like 60s, 70s.
Columbo
I think
was later, wasn't it?
I think the first one was 60,
And
late
the
60s,
acting
68, 69.
is very theatrical, and I was wondering, well, that's because they're mostly theatre based. Back then, they were all theatre actors. So when you have a 60-year-old in that's the 60s, they come from that background of overacting for the back of the script, you know, the back of. So I thought, oh, that's why you get that weird sort of.
Well, Shatner was basically had pretty much exclusively done theatre until he got. I think it was someone saw him in a. I don't know whether it was Gene Roddenberry who created Star Trek or if it was someone else, a producer or whatever, but they basically saw him in a play and thought it was
Well,
wonderful.
for an exaggeration to prove my point, actually, if you watch Citizen Kane, that does feel like a theatre play because they were all theatre actors. So when you watch it, it goes, they're acting, they're not trying to, but they're theatre actors. When he did the film, he basically had a theatre troupe that he would use, and he just went to them.
His Mercury Theatre troupe.
So when you watch it now, you go, oh, it does look like a theatre play that's going on. I don't know if that's on purpose, like it's filmed. It is very grandiose and things, but the movements and all that are of somebody that's trying to project way out, like. And I think that Shatner, well, he shat all over Columbo. He did. He was shatting on every screen. He was.
Look how pleased you are with that joke.
Let's get off. Let's talk about something. What do I want to talk about?
You wanted to talk about a petrol station encounter.
Oh God, I wish you never brought that up. I'd forgotten.
You told me to remind you.
Yeah,
he
I did,
actually
but I'd
said,
calmed down
for ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I was told to put a reminder in my calendar.
I was so angry because I texted you as I nearly got my phone out there and then, but I waited till I was so angry.
Well, we don't have to talk about. We can talk around the fact that it made you cross.
I'm trying to think if I got a good story afterwards to pull me back on to get me
Something
out.
cheerful.
Right, it's just disgusting human. Right, remember the story I told you about the bloke that he was in the shop at 11 o'clock eating the feast?
Oh yeah, wearing slippers and stuff.
I never thought anybody would top that because there's only certain things that come along that are perfect.
Yeah,
like a perfect storm where I ended up laughing because I thought, right, he's like a character.
For people who don't know, this was an encounter with Theo.
Yeah, I was in a shop. So I was in a shop. I always try to be the rational person in all those situations. But I look at everything from everybody's point of view. I'm in the shop. It's Sainsbury's Metro, about 11:15. Like half the shutters are down. It's that late. Bloke walks in. So he's got his sandals on, got socks on, got shorts on. I only allow you to get away with that if you're from overseas. If you're like maybe Australian or Brazilian, even Turkey, I go, that's different.
You're allowed.
It feels like you're bringing that over here. But if you're not, you've got no right to be wearing that. Then he had.
So if you're a clueless foreigner, basically you're good.
He then in that Metro, he has a Feast ice cream. That's not. I've just been for a run. I need a drink.
No.
And it's 11, and you're at the till in a small shop. You're only going to be in there a minute, and you're eating an ice cream. And then he had his headphones on, and the bloke said something, and he went, "What?" I go, well, yeah, he's got to tell you how much it is. You need to take the headphones off, as if like what? And then he got his Apple. And so I'm annoyed by the whole package. Everything's wrong with this. And then when he said, "Do you accept Apple Pay?" I actually laughed out loud and I relaxed because it was like he's doing everything.
That let the air out.
I went to the. I said, "You enjoying that?" And he went. I thought you're great. Just that you're a little character. But anyway,
did he smell like weed? I mean,
no, I don't remember him.
Okay.
I was quite close.
That's an excuse, I think. Yeah,
but it's just you could have waited. Yeah, the shop's so small.
It's very strange, like 11:15, being like, "God, I could murder some ice cream."
But that's the least thing. It's like wait till you get outside the shop. Why did you have to open it here? But anyway,
yeah.
This person that I then was in the petrol station with, borderline tops that.
Okay. It was two people, apparently, from what you told me.
Oh no, there was another incident which I've forgotten about now.
Okay.
Don't remind. What was the other one?
I don't know.
Something happened. I forgot.
You about the
but anyway,
petrol station
so in the
encounters.
petrol station, this is just annoying. This isn't like because she just did one thing.
Okay.
So I'm in the petrol station. So it's a petrol station about 8 o'clock. So there's a few people in there.
PM or AM?
PM. Whenever I text you, is around
okay.
that. So I go do my stuff. Marks and Spencer's petrol station. So I come back I'm queuing up. There's like 3 people in front of me. There's a big chick in front of me, but like big, fat chick. The leggings.
An
big
overweight
arse.
woman.
Yeah,
Right.
huge.
Okay, right.
Anyway, she goes up, and she's the till's quite high. She's giving the stuff to the guy, and I suddenly see him have a packet. Looks like a big packet of biscuits, like big, and the thing's open. And I thought, don't tell me she's eating biscuits like at the in the petrol station queue. Anyway, she then turns around to get her bag. It's a fresh cream cake that she's opened, and she went like that, licked her fingers.
Oh, not in
I
there.
think
is this recently?
Yeah, when was it?
It was a couple of weeks ago.
So this is Corona
Not
time.
that long ago, was it?
I mean,
No,
it was whenever you text me to say, probably a week ago, actually, because you said
less.
like...
So, because I was still in the hotel, that's where it was.
Yeah.
So she wasn't wearing a mask either.
No, do you know, I only thought that today. I thought, she didn't forget the mask.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing that annoyed me. Oh,
Okay.
God.
We've
It
opened
was
the
one
can
of those
worms.
things again where I went to the town centre, multi-story, parked the car up, put an hour on. I had to walk about 300 metres to get to the town centre. I had a look in Starburgers, a bit expensive. We'll go somewhere else.
Where?
Starburger. I was looking. Anyway, so
That sounds like a placeholder in a film. Like
Starburger.
they couldn't convince Burger King to let them use it.
Generics.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's like a Wimpy, but they're good. I like them. But anyway, so I went to.
So it's a generic. It's not even Wimpy. It's a generic Wimpy.
Yeah, it's like a Well, have you not seen Starburgers?
No.
Oh, anyway, so then I go to the shop that I'm going to get to. So I've only got an hour. I'm just walking in. Oh, my bloody mask. Oh Christ. No, I can't. So I've got to go back. Then walk to the car, get the thing, and now it's like half an hour in, so I've got to put more money on the bloody car. Get the
How
thing.
much did it cost for an hour?
So it was only like 120, 130, something like that. Oh, 120. But pay for the card saves everybody money. I'm going to charge you 20p though if you want to use your card. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
That's very nice. That is. So for the fact of you not having to have a traffic warden coming to do it, I'm being charged more. So yeah, if you want to pay by card, yeah, bung some more money in there. What can I pay cash? No, we want to save money. So you saving money means it costs me more money. Anyway, so I get my mask, trundle back, but 300-400 meters, get back to the shop. Everyone's walking in without a mask.
Yeah.
Which then just annoyed me even more. I thought, right, why do I just not give it? But I couldn't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this woman, when I saw what she was eating, the guy showed the packet. It was like, I don't know if you've ever seen them. You get like 2 in a pack, and it's like a frosted type of
Like an ice bun or something?
No, it's like the size of a tennis ball, but they're halved and they're made of frosting and they've got fresh cream inside.
Oh, what, like a meringue or something?
Yeah, that's
basically?
it. Yeah. And I thought, how do you eat one of them in a petrol station?
You can have sticky hands,
Cream
right?
cake. Think of what that. I would love to follow around for a week. Just to go, right, how do you live the rest of your life? Think of opening a fresh cream cake in a petrol station queue.
It's very strange.
And giving somebody a fresh cream cake. Like you're not in there for more than a minute.
I know. It's one of it's an odd thing. So it's not like, oh, I was feeling woozy, so I had to grab a quick isotonic drink or whatever,
And the balls to do it. To go, I don't care. Like you've got to be dead inside. Like I'm not even thinking about caring. I just want that cake. I'm eating it now. I saw a guy eating grapes with his kid a couple of months ago. And I thought, right, I know people with their kids and I never give people any leeway because they've got kids. You act like a human being. But anyway, okay, so they got the crisps and shut the kid up. You can't do your parenting correctly. So I'll give him food. That's a good way of training my child to shut up. Here's some food. But then you can scan the crisp packet afterwards.
Yeah.
Which I've seen people do.
Yeah, if you keep the wrapper.
Why are you feeding him? Are you going to count for those little grapes? Are you going to weigh the baby when you go? Yeah, I'll have those 2 things of grapes. Yeah, and let me just pop the baby on because he's got 17 grapes inside.
This is what he weighed before. Subtract the difference, and
but that is pure theft. That is, you're not getting them back. That's not being paid for. Those
but what
grapes.
was it? Where were the grapes from?
No, just loose in the supermarket. He's walking around with the kid, and I saw him popping the kid was having a few going. I think, well, you're not waiting.
Some people don't. There is that thing of, I know what you mean, but I don't object to people if they're like, oh, just the kids. I've got 10 minutes. My temper's a thing. Eat the crisps. I'll pay with a packet. But it is that thing of. I remember. I think I've said it before about being in a co-op, and some kid was just. And the mum did nothing. The kid was just opening up Kinder eggs to get the toys.
Oh my God.
Just ripping them
That's
open.
a crime.
Getting the things out. There were like 3 or 4 of them scattered. It's not like he'd done it. She just didn't care. And I was like, oh, good. I look forward to getting mugged by that kid when I'm older. Do you know what I mean? He just doesn't care.
Let's take a snapshot of him now, just for
exactly.
a witness. But just, come on. It's like a cream cake.
It's very strange. Yeah, I mean, it's also a bit gross in
everything's
Never
wrong.
mind COVID.
Everything's wrong with it. There's no I can't. Just the food, the type of food it is, the fact how you're not embarrassed, the time. Anyway, so yeah, just that. After that, we're at Kerem. Oh,
yeah, I'm just enjoying Kerem.
Anytime anybody
Mission
moves,
Impossible.
Yeah, that was a bit Mission Impossible.
The T-Rex, just based on movement.
So those human beings are just, and the more and more of them, and you're just being cornered. Like if you've got any sense, you're just being cornered into. You're the only one with any sort of common sense. You've got to live in the world of freaks, which then makes you the freak.
I remember being in the shop at it was like 11 in the morning. I was buying some sweets or something. It's an off license, and this dude bought like loads of special brew cans, and then he literally paid for them in like 2p's, and then cracked one open and then downed it
In the shop.
at like 11 in the morning. I went.
I suppose we're basically talking, but that yours kind of sounds on the face of it kind of funny. It's not. I'm not laughing.
Oh, that was tragic. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's actually, but they're the two sides of the same coin.
Addiction.
Aren't they?
I can't see past the end of I need my thing now. Those people are out there, like just pure, like 2 brain cells just firing off. No
It's
thought.
just-
no
it's a
Out
little
there
bit sad.
voting,
yeah, same vote as you,
getting
same
probably
power
out,
as you, mate.
shuffling around, getting in the way.
And then you go, oh, there's that many that would vote for a Trump. Like there's that many of them out there. That
Hey, Trump.
yeah.
But it does make me sad. You know, it does make you sad, sort of thinking like, what is your life in a way?
Yeah, I mean, it's so small. Your brains are so small. There you go. You're basically an amoeba. you only know how
I
to
don't know if it's an
replicate.
amoeba. I'm just thinking.
I just wonder,
can't-
what do you do for a job? Like,
I would genuinely
like,
pay 50 quid if I could be invisible and follow them around for 24 hours. Just to
I think
see
they
what
charge
goes
more
on.
to be invisible.
Yeah. I don't. But just to go genuine, it's a social experiment. I want to see how you live your life. I want to watch it. I want to go the kids and where you.
I'd be interested as well to be like, what? I wonder when you became this person.
Well, the
Do you know?
parents. It's definitely they're not. The parents ain't a lawyer and an English teacher. It's going to come down to that eventually. But yeah, so to get off that. So we're talking of social experiments, watching the TV. It was horrendous. I shouldn't have done it because it just made me feel really bad. Like it was, oh, you are really on your own here. It's so bad. Anyway, so one of the other things. So everyone, we've spoken about Joe Rogan every now and again, and some stuff I'm doing with podcast investment. I thought I better look up and get some information. And I remember contacting their show like about 6 or 7 years ago when it was first like low level, couple of thousand level followers.
What, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, like it was because it was an early when there wasn't many going around, and I liked it. That was very new at the time. Just a couple of people talking, not taking it seriously.
you get some interesting people on. Yeah.
So I heard it years ago, and I thought, right, let me just go and listen to some of these shows. Like I'm going to actively listen. So I downloaded 3 random ones out over a year, and as I was saying to Alex before the show, he's really right wing, like he was. As you said,
Who's Joe Rogan?
yeah, he was
Yeah.
laughing at people wearing masks. Somebody was shouting at him across the road to put his mask on, and he was like going, "Oh, these people have gone mad." And I'm thinking, I remember you being like really liberal. And he did, as he said in one of the shows, I think he's talking to an army guy or a CIA guy or something, and they're sort of laughing at them. I'm thinking, aren't you sort of supposed to be left? I thought you were like a smart.
I think he identifies as a libertarian. So
What is that? Because I mean, the thing with Joe Rogan is I only know from the odd clips and here and there. Probably when you said, "Oh, watch this for UFO research," because they were interviewing the that's probably
bombers or whatever.
yeah, but that's probably the longest I've ever seen of one.
No, but it's when you go to just a general conversation that people it then starts to come out. I can't remember the stuff we talked, but yeah, I was thinking, you sound like a rich bloke moaning at people that aren't. You never used to be like. Didn't sound. You never
Because he
sound
probably
like,
he never used to be rich.
yeah. So
did he?
I was thinking, is it just that there's been such a gradual change that internally he still sees himself the same, but he's now lost perspective. If you've been in California at that level for that long, you can't keep the same mindset. It has to change, and you won't notice it change.
Well, didn't all those rappers come out and support Trump recently? Like Ice Cube. I mean, Ice Cube.
And what?
NWA. Yeah. Literally like doing angry, violent like songs, always calling for like sort of violent direct action against, the
And
government, the police.
then it was Daddy. No, not Daddy Daycare. Which one? Are we there yet?
Oh, well, he's come a long way, let's say. But like, but yeah, he came out in favor of Trump, and so did 50 Cent as well. And then he retracted it.
Oh, that's a tax thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
but still, they were like, "Oh, I don't want to pay any tax. Everyone vote for Trump."
That's I never mind when people sell their souls a little bit when you're trying to get your foot in the door. I said when I did security for escorts and things like that, I used to have so much respect for them because none of them wanted to be doing it more or less. They all said like secret had to do it on the secret. Some of them were right heartbreaking. Can you not park outside my house because my cousins and my aunties around? I don't want them to know, but I've got to do it because my dad died and I've got to give my mum some money. She doesn't speak English. All that sort of terrible stuff, like studying chemistry and doing this on the side. And so I never blame anybody at the bottom when they're trying to make a go of it. But when you get to 50 Cent and you're still selling your soul, talking of rich people selling your soul, old Dwayne Johnson, the old Rock, he's been up to his tricks. So
Well, what's he done now?
remember I said about the water business where I've just gone off him now, where he started lying about how much water he was drinking, and then a month later he started, I'm invested in this water company now, this Chinese water company. I thought, oh right, yeah. And it was like, what was it, 14 gallons of water a day? I was thinking, oh, you lying son. With all the money you've got, you're still being bought off. But then something popped up about a month ago. The Rock, I couldn't get out of my build, his electric gates wouldn't open. I mean, you see where it's going. I had to get. I didn't want to let anybody down at the studio, so I did the only thing I could do, and he pulled them off with his bare hands. And a photograph of two perfectly neat electric gates on the big lawn. I thought that's so pathetic. So you couldn't climb over the wall. He said, "I'll call an engineer," and they said they're going to be 4 minutes. But I didn't want to let anybody down in the film studio,
So he hulked out and tore the
perfectly
gates off.
laid out electric gates on the.
Has he now invested in an electric
Yeah.
company? Is that really what
very
it
nice.
is?
I'm going to keep an eye on his Twitter feed.
Is that genuinely what happened?
No, but
right.
that wouldn't surprise me.
I thought that's where it was going because of the whole water
Right,
thing.
yeah,
we said before.
But I just thought that's pathetic. Like, you're a little bit respected. Don't lower yourself to. I need to. Because they have the thing in the media, don't they? Like, what is it? You have to promote yourself every 3 months at least. You can't be out of the media. You have to put out a story every 3 months.
Maybe longer now, wouldn't it? In the age of social media.
Well, now, yeah. I heard this like a few years ago from a marketing guy. But you go, but you've got the money. Why are you?
Well, you want to keep the money.
You're
You want to keep it coming in.
multi-million. You got the thing. You're respected and all that. And your agent says, right, listen, we have to create a stupid story about you. So let's have a story about you ripping off the gates and place them neatly on the floor.
I mean, it's also part of the persona, isn't it? Like, always big and tough. You know, it's like when action stars have to say, actually, I do a lot of my own stunts. And it's
No,
like,
I understand.
I'm not sure the insurance would agree with that.
Or they just show loads of pictures of them working out loads and being jacked.
But if you're like an Insta or an it girl or whatever, I can understand you're just selling. All you do is sell your soul.
Yeah, influencer.
But when you go, oh, Rocky's a really great guy, and you go, no, it's just that. You've got millions of money. You don't have to worry. And you should go, right, I'm not doing that anymore because I'm an adult and people respect me. No, let's do a silly little story about you ripping off the gate rather than jumping over the wall. I'll just rip the gates off.
But-
I won't break them. I'll just make them
But
perfectly.
he, like, so the claim is that he ripped, like, when you
Has
just,
anybody got Twitter on?
like, pull the,
Can you Twitter Rock?
can you turn
Gates,
on
electric
Twitter,
gates?
please?
yeah.
If you ask, is he in?
Ask Twitter.
Is he awake?
That couldn't have been more like if you'd said the Twitter. Can someone check the Twitter?
Well, what would you say?
Can you check Twitter? It was just the way Twitter on.
Twitter.
Like it was like, you know, switch, the light switch, turn the internet
just,
on.
yeah, the Rock gate, electric gates.
Because
Hashtag.
when you just push them apart, kind of thing, like when you barge.
Well, I think electric gates have a manual override with a key. There's a thing. I'm sure that's like a.
Well, I suppose to stop it. Because
Yeah,
if
to
that
be locked
happens,
in.
then-
Yeah, because when you lose the power, obviously you'd be screwed. you wouldn't be able to get out.
No. I had no options. My gate. I mean, I'm this is a fitness guy. I got a wall. I'm not getting over that, mate.
But it's like every actress or glamour model or female celebrity who gets like paparazzi'd on the beach in their bikini. Whenever it's like a nice picture and they look nice.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
always
that is
staged.
crap.
Yeah,
I mean you always get whenever you get somebody might be gay. There's rumours they're immediately in Stringfellows with the lap darts are going. Oh, his hands are all over me.
Yeah, it's a PR.
Yeah,
that was. Have you ever seen
a few of them have done that.
the Louis Theroux with Max Clifford? Now remember, folks, Max Clifford.
Yeah, this is not someone we want to admire.
Yeah. Well, he was always a scumbag, but
Yeah.
I mean, now we know that he was a rapey scumbag, and some of the stuff some of the stories. Can we go into this
Yeah,
a
go
little
on.
bit?
Well, I don't know.
He used to expose himself to ladies,
Okay.
and then say, "Oh, look how small it is. It's tiny, isn't it?" Referring to his penis. And all the ladies were like, apparently he wanted to be told how small his penis was. The punchline is that they were like, yeah, but it was just normal. I shouldn't laugh because I mean he's an awful, dreadful man. He's
Can you continue
died
your
in
mic?
prison, didn't he?
Read that out.
Is he dead now?
Yeah, he
thought
died, I think.
I think he died in prison. Yeah.
Oh.
Can you read that, Charles?
Charles, could you?
Is that the Twitter thing?
Not my finest hour.
Hang on,
The man's got to go to work.
This is the Rock talking.
I
his
can't
Twitter.
do a rock.
No, that was asked to do the impersonation.
Oh, not my finest hour, but a man's got to go to work. See, not a good impression.
Who was that an impression of?
That was supposed to be the Rock.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was James Cagney. Or something.
I was thinking very Bugsy Malone, like dun, dun,
See?
dun, dun, dun.
But Andrew, you could do this better. Can you take that like?
I
Produce
tried to override the hydraulic system to open a gate, which usually works when power goes out, but this time it wouldn't. Made some calls to see how fast I could get the gate tech on site, but I didn't have 45 minutes to wait. They look fairly hulked out.
I mean, my only thing is that's basically saying don't buy gates off this company because you can just rip them off
That'll
the wall if you're that cross.
But There's no other option.
If it's that easy,
than to tear metal gates.
Imagine
off their
Antifa are going to smash through that in a second, aren't they?
Let's just cut the He didn't pull any gates off anything at all. It didn't happen. And if you did, what, you're a child? Hey, mummy, look what I did. Look at everyone. Look what I did.
Look, Dad, I got an F.
I thought you had to get to where you're going. No, I had time to put it down on the floor and take a photograph and tweet about it. But I've not got time to climb over the wall.
What do you want there? Do you want it to like tear it open and like...
No, get over the wall. What are you talking about? Just anything.
I suppose, what about your car then?
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, I know.
I mean, there's no way of getting anywhere without your own car nowadays.
Well, you just run out into the road, flag someone down, say, I'm The Rock and I need to get filming, and then they'll just drive you.
Anyway,
sure.
I think those films, they all send cars out anyway in the mornings to pick you up. And it's just rubbish. It's just, and why did you have time to put
I have to say, I do enjoy your vendetta against The Rock.
But I liked him. It's just, do you know what
why.
it is? It's when you expect more of somebody.
Yeah.
That's what, and then they let you down. That's because he doesn't constantly do it. But you go, oh, I thought I quite liked him. He seems sensible.
He seemed all right. Yeah, he seems all right.
And then you go, no, same as anybody else.
I can sort of live with it, to be honest.
It doesn't keep me up at night.
It was. I think how many months ago this was.
Exactly.
It was like the Bernie Sanders thing when he was like creeping in. I thought, oh, we might do something here. But then when they had that 2-day period where they all just suddenly clamped when he started doing well, and they all just clamped down on him.
It's when
Obama.
It's when the super delegates came in, and the way the primary system works is basically it's not a fair equal election. They have the super delegates whose votes have more weight than other people's. It's not a great system, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about when all the Democrats that were running all turned against him.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, because they're technically super delegates, so they have it's a weighted election.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, none of them came out and said anything about Trump that well. Like, Obama hadn't popped up talking about Trump, but suddenly Bernie Sanders, who's on your side, the Democrats, then within 2 days, the news networks, all the liberal, they all clamped down on, oh, Bernie Sanders, socialist, all that. In fact, I mean, they're calling him socialist. Oh, it's going to be a socialist. He's not going to get in socialist. What are they calling? What's his name in there now? Socialist.
Oh, well, they're always going to call
Democrat, so forget
Democrat
it.
socialist.
But it was because they started doing it. When the Democrats started clamping down, you go, oh, forget it then. Like you're fighting against yourselves.
Well,
now.
it's corporate interest, isn't it? I mean,
because he's more dangerous than Trump.
Yeah, because he's going to bring regulations and tax corporations, and they don't want that.
So that annoyed me more because I thought, oh, it might happen, and then no.
American election then.
It's coming Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday, I do believe.
Oh, so right. Remember my prediction on when we did the Trump thing? What did I say? He'll go to Russia. Right. He can't face any. He's not going to go to jail.
I think he'll leave.
He will throw anybody under the bus over nothing. To think that he'll go to jail, forget it. He'll burn the country down. And my thing was, he's going to be in the courts for the rest of his life. He hasn't got the money to do it. So he's going to have to leave the country. That's why I said Russia. And that's what Russia want from the start, because now that's propaganda. Look, we've got him here.
He'll get pardoned. I think the first thing Joe Biden will do is nixon him and pardon him. Give him blanket immunity for anything.
No,
you think Biden would do that?
No.
I think he would, yeah.
Well, they'll make a deal.
It's a good precedent because Biden doesn't want to be arrested for anything he might have done.
If they don't, I think he'll fight. He'll throw everyone under the bus. He'll burn the place to the ground, and the last thing he'll jump on a plane and go to Russia, and then complain. And Russia will say, "Come over here, mate. Look,
maybe, yeah.
Keep your life the way you want."
The issue is
and sorry, one second. And yeah, in this speech, he's going, "Oh, look what's going to happen to you? Maybe I'll have to leave the country." I thought, and that because what he's doing is as a bottom feeder con man, he's constantly throwing things out to see what gets. Oh, just might get out. Oh, he might be a criminal. And he throw it, and when one catches,
I have heard him say,
he follows that.
And
I just heard him say, I don't know, I might have to leave the country. I thought, there you go. He's
thinking about it. Yeah, it's in his head.
But he's positing it that he'd have to leave because it'd be so awkward and embarrassed, and that he lost.
Yeah, he'll burn the thing to the ground, and the last thing he'll do is go, right, I'm getting out of here. Then forget it. I'm not going to jail. I'm off.
The issue with the American elections is that I don't think that the result will be announced that day or that night.
It's going to be a few weeks of moaning and whinging and lying and holding things up. And
some states aren't going to start counting postal votes for about 2 or 3 days after the election day. And this is the issue. This is where the real issue is, because they will. I'm sure the Republican Party will bring in legal injunctions to try and stop the counting, depending on how the results are going. So this is the trouble: is that the result might not be. It might take weeks to sort this out.
Yeah, it's not going to happen on election night. There's going to be a lot of whinging and bitching.
Well, just by nature that so many people have early voted and there's such a lot of postal votes, it takes a while to process them. And so I said some states They're talking like, oh, we're going to start counting about 3-4 days afterwards. Why? I mean, you should be counting them now, to be honest. Why not?
Yeah, it's going to be funny. When is it, Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it means it's
it's
Tuesday
third.
into our Wednesday or Monday into our Tuesday.
So you're going to have a week of all hell breaking loose and everybody's complaining and saying this and that and the other. Then you got to go, what's going to happen?
Then we got the national lockdown in this country. That should be fun.
Oh, God. When did you say it's happening? From Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
I mean, I'd like to point out that it was Boris
Why
Johnson
from
that said it was
Thursday?
happening, not me.
And technically, they said they still have to ratify it in Parliament,
That's
so it
probably why.
might not get passed.
Well, on a
I think
happy...
it would do, wouldn't it?
I probably would, because I think the public, I think the public's behind it, and but then a lot of his party are very against it. So I don't know. It's not a foregone conclusion.
On a happier note, the New Zealand Prime Minister, was it Jardine? Oh, I've forgotten her name.
Jacinda Ardern.
Just in Jordan.
Yeah, so they're pushing through euthanasia is allowed for terminal illnesses. She can't do anything wrong, that woman. I mean, you need to stick her in charge of the rest of the world.
And they're legalising cannabis there.
Oh, are they really?
Yep.
Oh,
From
cool.
next, I think from the beginning of next year.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where she came. Where did she pop out from? She doesn't. Everything she does is right. Was she a long-term politician? Was she like a business owner or something?
I believe she was a teacher, or was that her husband?
Her husband rings a bell. Yeah.
I think it just shows the lack of leadership that we have, particularly in the UK and America. That any half decent person,
Yeah.
you stick in.
Common
You're
sense, yeah.
like Nicola Sturgeon. I think I don't particularly like a lot of her policies, but next to Boris, I'm like, she's better than him. And like Joe Biden, same thing. Like he looks like Mother Teresa next to. I mean, any other year
Well, it's funny,
he'd be a doddery old candidate, and you'd be like,
There was a guy.
But next to Trump, you just think, oh no, he looks like a saint.
He's
I mean,
not a cartoon comic.
Yeah.
There was a guy. What was it? Oh, I can't remember his name. But he said, I am sick to death of having to vote somebody out rather than voting for somebody that I believe in.
yeah.
He said, I'm at it up to it, that trying to go, well, they're the worst of the worst, get them out. Worst of the worst, get them out. Worst of the worst, get them out. You go, at what point do you go, oh, that's the better candidate? Like that's gone. Like it's just they've got to scrape the bucket the least, get that one out.
It's harm reduction, they call it, and you literally have the two candidates. One guy's going to bring in 20 concentration camps, and one guy's going to bring in 10. So you have to vote for the one who's going to bring in 10 concentration camps.
But I'm
Basically.
just so angry at society. It's just like, how did you all let this out? I mean, again, I feel like I didn't really start living until I was about 30. So I don't feel I've invested. But I just think, where were all the adults for those years? Why have you allowed it to come to this? Why have you allowed politicians not to answer questions? How did it become this weird? And you've accepted it. That's the way things are. Whenever Boris and all that talk, it's like they're struggling to deal with reality of like an actual problem because they're so used to just living in this chessboard of politics where it's just whatever's going on in the House of Commons. And every now and again, we have to pop our head out and talk to normal people. But it's basically power play between us. Whenever a problem happens, like there's an issue at society, they go, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just used to being in my university called the Parliament with all the same leather, same smell, same people. And I don't know how to deal with problems. All I know how to do is play power politics. And you can't fix things if first it has to go through the visor of how does this affect my career, me, an individual's career, then fixing the country. It's easy to fix a country, but the complications happen when you go, well, I've got to do it through me and him and that deal with him, and then someone's got to fix it between all that. Rather than just go, well, just fix the problem. Well, no, because it might hurt my career, so I can't. So you go, well, they're just playing games. Now they've had to come out of the House of Parliament and fix a social problem. They can't do it. And you have to accept. You go, oh my God, there's a chimpanzee at the steering wheel. Is anybody saying, quick, grab him?
I think you're being unkind to chimpanzees.
Yeah, I
okay.
apologise to any chimpanzees listening.
At least they're shortened to the point when they talk. Well, sign language, anyway. Yeah, like Boris. I mean, I listened to the press conference from the Prime Minister, and same thing as always. He buries. Who writes his speeches? Because he just buries the lead so much. I was listening just for okay, we're going for a national lockdown. Here's the date. Here's what this means. Yeah, and then he was whittering on for about it. That's the announcement that the lockdown. He was going to do a national lockdown in the UK. Came about 10 minutes into this speech. Structure this better. Structure this better. You want your bits. Okay, we need to do this for old people. We don't want to overload our health system. but also we have to balance economic interests and, people at home, depression, whatever. I get it. Just structure that better. Yeah. Have the lead up top, just
basic stuff. They were talking about Trump and what's the plan, the Medicare plan or whatever he's supposed to be preaching for 4 years, is waiting for it to come out. And I was with someone, I said, right, that Medicare plan or whatever it is will never ever turn up.
It's been 12 years, sorry, because this was passed in the first year. I suppose the first year of Obama. So it's been 12 years, and they still haven't come.
But
up
I'm
with
telling you about the Trumps thing. We're going to do the better one. We're going to do the better one.
I was in the Republican Party have had 12 years to come up with.
Oh no, but I'm saying specifically with regards to Trump when they ask him about it. I said, one, you have to understand it can't ever exist with him there, because he can't do any work that isn't specifically to do with him.
There's too much effort. It's
think of a plan, a Medicare. Think of the work you would have to do. He hasn't come through the university or the college system with proving himself, being filtered down, exams. He doesn't know how to do any of that. Plus, I said he's got learning difficulties. He probably can't read properly, so that's why they have to use cards and videos.
I mean,
the general said, what was it? We went from. We were showing him paperwork and he wouldn't read it. Then we tried to get it onto one page and he wouldn't read that.
No pictures.
Then we went down to cards and he would only take notice of the first 3 cards. So that Medicare plan...
Was that the same general who called him a fucking moron?
Yeah.
And he quit.
So think of a Medicare plan that it's got, right, stop all your ego stuff. Sit here and do this work for 3 months that you've never done in your life. There's nothing to... It's just a plan. That's the first problem. He's not going to do the work. Secondly... He's not going to memorize anything and be questioned on it because he doesn't care. He doesn't know about numbers and people, so he can't do that. And the third thing is, he certainly can't be questioned on it, which you're going to be questioned, and he can't because he doesn't know how to learn. So it can never, ever exist because he can't do the work, he doesn't care about the work, and he's not going to be able to be questioned on it because it's nothing to do with him. So it will never, ever materialize. They could go and write it for him and say, right, we've done it. Here it is. I'm not fucking learning nothing. I'm not learning nothing. So it's never going to exist.
That was what was interesting, I think, is that the first debate was obviously appalling and 3 old men shouting at each other for like an hour and a half. It was awful. I wasn't going to watch it live, and then I ended up watching it live, and I was just like, oh, it was grating. The second one I thought was worse for Trump because they actually let him talk for... He's all right, like, doing these little comebacks and doing these little zingers and being catty to people. But when you actually let him talk on any topic for 2 minutes,
he's got nothing.
Oh, he doesn't have a clue what he's saying. Yeah. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Well, think on any topic, he's got nothing more than a single line. Just think of that. If you question him about where or the thing, he doesn't know what you're talking about. Because I'm just here to just have a pop at you and moan because all he's ever done is be a showman and then sod off and leave people to deal with the work. That's it. So it's like saying, I can't physically learn anything, so don't ask me any questions. That's why I just moan and whinge and talk about things. Don't ask me any questions. I don't know anything.
But then people seem to like that. Unfortunately, that seems to resonate with the population. That, like,
well, that's the problem.
No details, no specifics.
Call people names, petty, childish.
Yeah, just act like a child. And
well, this is the problem. There's a saying that you don't have to study history. You just have to go back and look at who they held up as their celebrities. Because that takes a long process before that celebrity arises, and that tells you about everything below. So you could go back to the 80s with the lad mags and the things, whatever. You go to nowadays and you see Trump and the Kardashian things or whatever. You go, what? You don't need to study them. That's who they held up. So everything below them, that's what they were like at that time. And so you go, Trump, yeah, because everybody was bloody stupid and they've been watching too much TV and reality TV. Him there tells you about everything below at that time.
That's an interesting question. I don't know who the biggest celebrity in this country would be, or even like. Maybe I'm out of touch. Yeah, I was thinking everything's quite atomized now. I'm thinking, who would you? In the old days, you'd think, I don't know, David Beckham or someone. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean as like who is the singular most famous?
Yeah, someone everyone would know if you just said the name. Go,
I was listening to
like Harry Styles. I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know that someone.
Maybe. Yeah.
There was a guy who was in a Thai prison. I think he's like 5 years ago. I was listening to his story, and he said he went over there. And he said they weren't speaking English. And he said, but they kept saying to him, Gary Lineker. Listen, when he left football, apparently went over there to do. He became a celebrity over there. He said, "He go Gary Lineker. Who's under Gary Lineker for the last 30 years?" He said, "No, they're all going to be Gary Lineker because he was a star over there." But I don't know who's a celebrity over here. Louis, you're the nearest to young people. What's going on in the streets?
I mean, not people clicking and doing the mambo. Apparently.
Like the
I think of the font. That's what, Is that not cool, kids?
Stormzy's probably one of the most famous.
I think
maybe, also
yeah.
because that name, because it's what do you call it when someone's got one name for
like Cher.
No. Yeah, but that's what it is. I can't remember what it's called now. But anyhow, because it's single name, it's identifiable.
My mum knows who he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because he did those scholarships to Oxford, so she knows that, like, to Oxford University.
So have we not got?
Well, I was thinking. My contention was I was thinking it's quite like media is quite atomized now, so we don't get these kind of big-ish.
Because everyone's a mild celebrity. So,
yeah, because I was thinking, well, TV? Well, I probably don't watch the same TV shows as you do.
Adele. Adele's probably the most famous person,
it's
I would
music.
say.
It's music people, basically, because you might have heard the song on the
Actors,
radio
Harry
or
Potter.
on TV.
Because no, I don't think. I mean, people will know who Harry Potter is, and they'll
True.
probably recognise the.
But the thing is, because everyone's got the same access to media now, so it's like there is no
that's what I mean.
superstar.
Because there's 50 different streaming things.
This is what I'm
1,000
saying. Is
different
that,
binge.
everything's so atomized. Everyone's. I think we were saying last time. That, for instance, YouTube. I mean, there are people who are massive on YouTube who get 50 million subscribers, millions of views a day or whatever for all the daily posting, and you wouldn't know who they are. I wouldn't know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really. As I said, sometimes my mum will ask some weird, like, what is Antifa or what is, like, QAnon, and I'm like, okay,
I don't know.
No.
Right.
The thing is that, like, don't ask, and then you'll be happier, mother.
yeah, trying to explain.
Bliss.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
with QAnon and Antifa.
Trying to explain, like, these internet things that kind of makes sense on the internet, kind of thing. Trying to explain them to, like, someone who hasn't had their brain rotted by this stuff for about 10 or 15 years.
Things like 4chan
like,
and 8chan. I've never been on those, and I'm quite happy to.
What are they? Porn.
I think they're just like they're like internet chat rooms, aren't they? Basically, message boards. Sorry. Basically, it's like, but each is more like sort of fascistic and weird, and I believe dank is the term.
But Bastion, they were
the kids use.
bastions of freedom of speech, which usually means lots of Nazi stuff.
Yeah, lots of misogynistic men
Unfortunately.
hating women
Unfortunately.
and anyone who isn't.
Yeah,
white.
It's like the freak show just built up, the circus built up, then it just burst into like mainstream everywhere. You're living in a freak show.
And it is weird. Sometimes you get these internet people, like you get a Sargon of Akkad running for political office. He's an English political YouTuber person who's he's one of these dudes who says, "Oh, I'm a classical liberal. I'm very left wing," and then proceeds to be very pro-Trump and very anti-freedom. But he ran for UKIP, and it was hilarious seeing him on the news because all of a sudden he was actually being interviewed by proper news organisations like Channel 4 and stuff, and like in the Telegraph and the Guardian and the Daily Mail, and you're like, oh, these people can't. It's like oil and water. These people can't mix with like normal real life. They just completely freak out like when they're exposed to any. They're like sort of scuttling away. It's like lifting a bit of corrugated iron, or the Beatles scuttling
The
away.
sun hits them and they don't know what to do with it. Alex, what's going on in Australia with the corona?
Doing a lot better.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, so Victoria was the state that was really, really bad, and they went into lockdown a few months ago, and they've just been allowed to, like, open all their stores again.
And what's your government like? Was it right wing?
It's like he's at a press conference. Suddenly, all these microphones being pointed. So Alex is our producer, or one of our producers, by the way.
Liberal Party at the moment, so the they're all kind of centrist, but the right wing party, slightly right. Conservative government.
What does Australia think of New Zealand? Is there a friction, or would they get on, or what?
We get on well. There's like friendly rivalry,
Right.
but like
Particularly with sports, isn't it?
It's usually sports based, or like you guys pronounce this word like this and we pronounce it like that. But it's like free trade as well, though. You don't have to.
That's not much friction, is it nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. And you can go like, you can go live there and vice versa without needing visas and all that. But so Victoria just got released, so most of the country now is quite clear.
Oh, God, they always do things right, don't they?
All the borders are still sealed between states.
Yeah.
So it's like essentially like here, if you had like counties sealed off separately.
Yeah.
But they've got that, and they're slowly now thinking of opening up those borders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, thank you very much. There's a bit of a back. Do you, have you been up to Reading or
Yes, yeah.
have you been spending time in your caravan?
My house, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Have I
bit
just
more-
made the caravan thing up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where you got the caravan from.
Oh, it's
I
just
mean,
a
he
lovely-
has a beach, a magnificently appointed beach house.
Yeah.
I can't remember where.
Don't give out our hideaway. We have to run to where it is.
Yes. Oh,
What? Oh, is this
Yeah.
problems with sound?
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm retreating there tonight, to be honest, because it has the lowest infection rate in the country for the
Right,
past
okay.
week. So I think it's the safest
And you
place
were like,
to be.
I'm going to sort that out. I'm going to bring
Drag
those
my
numbers
London
back out.
breath up.
Yeah,
Super spreader, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I've just been through Soho today for a walk.
God, that was risky.
No one was assuming anything, Charles. It was like a guilty
I was on the phone to my mate.
Is
and
the planet forbidden?
People-
Forbidden or whatever.
Nah, but yeah, but people,
Forbidden planet. The planet forbidden.
I don't know. Well, it's not like anyone.
You sounded like you were General Zod coming. I have come for planet Houston.
Hang on. So what were you doing in Planet whatever it was called?
I was peering through the window. I was peering through the window because the shop was closed.
Is this Soho you're talking about?
And then I walked through central London tonight, and it was like a small riot going on, basically. Like,
It's the mask thing you were talking about before the show.
Anti-mask.
well, there was anti-mask demonstrations. I think there was a anti-France demonstration going on.
Anti-France?
Yes,
Bit broad.
I googled it because I was like, "What is?" Because I tried to keep my distance because there's a load of people.
Who's anti-France?
There was a group, and I think they were protesting France's response to that teacher being killed.
What happened to a teacher?
This is
Yeah, this is not very nice.
No.
But a teacher was giving a talk to his students. I believe he'd done it a few times before.
French teacher.
Yes. French teacher, excuse me, sorry. Talking about freedom of speech and examples of that. And that included the Charlie Hebdo, when they did the cartoons of the
Prophet
Prophet
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I
And
get it.
so I think there've been complaints about that. I don't know, because obviously I wasn't in the classroom or in the school or whatever, but I believe that he'd sort of said if anyone thinks that they might be offended by this image, because if you're a Muslim or for whatever reason, you can look away. If you don't, you can look away or you can leave the room or whatever. I'm not sure what the thing was, but I don't think it was like forcing people.
like
to look
sex
at it.
education sometimes. Parents,
Yeah.
parents are a bit funny about it.
Yeah,
You-
but I think there've been complaints about that, and I assume there were death threats. I'm not entirely sure. I think I seem to recall that at the very least there have been complaints ahead of it, and essentially someone told another, someone came to the school with a knife, like a grown up. This is not a student, and a student there who knew the attacker pointed out the teacher, and then I believe he beheaded him.
I
didn't
believe he
he?
beheaded him.
Jesus.
So he was buried with.
Alex, no, sorry.
So that one was a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
newest one, the one they're protesting, is from 2 or 3 days ago, where someone was beheaded in a church.
Oh, was that the church attack?
Old lady. Was it an old lady? Yeah, I think 2 or 3 people died.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dreadful. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason they're protesting is because Macron's come out and said we stand by stand against these people, but I think it's a lot of Muslims saying we're not part of this, and you're still insulting us by this whole. By
It's
standing
the
by
insult
our
of.
convictions.
They're introducing a new law apparently as well. It said it was a slightly contentious law in France to stop the Islamification of French society. I don't know what that means, and I don't know details of the law. That was quite contentious, and I remember the Turkish Prime Minister a couple of days ago came out and stood and said that said to boycott French products, and took an anti-French stance.
Hang on, but what have France done wrong?
They were the victims of 2 terrorist attacks,
But why is he saying?
and they were like, and they would complain
because they're saying free speech. People are saying,
Yes.
"Sod you and your free speech. Don't
Yeah.
buy French products."
yeah.
So it's just a zoo. Nothing makes any sense anymore.
And also today there were people walking around with central London with loudspeakers telling everyone to not wear masks and no lockdown.
Oh god, can we just leave? Should we just leave?
I just,
have you got a house in Australia, Alex? How many rooms do you have? Oh yeah.
It's yeah.
Right, let's get off this like, bloody thing. But it's Halloween. I mean, it's been quite a scary show.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's your
Ooh.
lot. So we got a nice little skeleton thing here. What was it? Oh, it's called Skeletor. I was going to say, what was the name of the thing in He-Man called? It was Skeletor, weren't
Yeah,
it?
Skeletor was a bad guy.
Skeletor.
Oh, very nice, Charles.
good stuff.
What did you buy in Planet Forbidden?
Nothing. It was closed.
Oh, so you
I just peered in the window. There was a man dressed as Frankenstein in there. Or maybe they just let Frankenstein out after hours. I don't
just
know.
a drunk.
He was
There's a man
green.
doing a zombie impersonation.
He was green and he had bolts in his head. I'm sure it's Frankenstein.
What is a
Frankenstein's
statue?
monster.
No, he was walking around.
Oh, he's closed
Yeah, he was dressed up as Frankenstein. Everyone was his fancy dress tonight.
in the shop.
Yeah,
Why were they in there if it's closed?
because they were. It was like 5 minutes after it had
Oh,
closed.
right, I
So
thought
they were
they
still
were-
like.
Oh, right,
people
it's not that they'd
pottering
seen you
around.
coming and they barred the door. And
It feels like that. Sometimes.
Pretend you're
Yeah.
a statue. Quick. So, okay, what's going on in the comic book world, Charles? Give me something
Comic
friendly,
book
something
world.
nice.
We've had the 3 Jokers recently. Don't know where that's going.
Three
There are
Jokers.
3 Jokers.
Oh,
now,
right, yeah, I
apparently.
remember saying,
And
yeah.
I don't know whether it's an Elseworld story. I've just bought the 3rd part. Hopefully, it will make sense.
I saw something
doubt
online
it.
quickly about they're having a female Batwoman. Something about a Batwoman. She's a
I mean, I
lesbian
think
or
about
something.
Batwoman would by definition be female. But
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
thanks for that.
They were what the TV series.
there was
the
a
TV series.
Oh,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a lesbian.
well, the character in the comic book is because you've got Batgirl, who I believe always was Barbara Gordon.
yeah, it has been. Yeah.
Yeah, but although they changed it in Batman and Robin, it was Alfred's.
It doesn't
So this is
count.
a new thing in comic books. There has always been a Batwoman.
There's been a Batwoman for a while now, hasn't
There's been a
there?
Batwoman and a Batgirl. Yeah.
So,
But they're not like married, Batman and Batwoman.
But I think
No.
the first Batgirl was Selena Kyle's and Catwoman and Batman's daughter in an Elseworld story.
oh, okay. Oh, really?
It's a really good one.
Do they ever cross over, or is it just two completely different?
Well, Batwoman is related to Batman, isn't she? She's
but
also
how
away.
did she
but
accidentally become a bat or whatever?
I'm not sure why she does
I think
it.
she just saw Batman doing his thing. It was
Yeah,
How
like,
did
I'm gonna get
Batman
involved.
become a bat? Did he like fall into a vat
He
of New
didn't.
York?
He's
He's
not
not-
a
he's
bat.
not actually
He's a
a bat.
dude.
He just dresses as a bat. He's a rich man.
Yeah.
But why bats? Why? So he
It's
can
because
fly?
he was scared of bats, and it's
No,
to
he
do
can't
with
fly,
making.
can he?
Well, he has a
hovers.
cape, so he can sort of.
He
glide.
doesn't have any
But
powers.
that seems like a hindrance. that fucking great big cape around you.
There's quite a fun bit when they in the New 52 when they rebooted the DC universe. They got the Justice League all together for the first time because it's a rebooted universe, and everyone was just like, "Oh, okay. So what do you do then? You have super strength?" And he's like, "No." They're like, "Can you fly?" And he goes, "Well, in a plane." And they're like, "Wait, you're not just some dude who dresses up as a bat, are you?" And he just turns around, gives him a little cheesy wink, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's nuts." Like,
But that's why, like that was one good bit, really good, nice bit in what was otherwise kind of okay, was the Justice League. So what's your superpower again? He goes, "I'm rich."
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that works for me. I'll let that go.
But as everyone's pointed out, there's all these billionaires, like however many 100 of them or something, and not one of them, is fighting crime.
Did you see that some dude had like an Iron Man suit?
Wasn't it Jeff Bezos had a? Oh no, Bezos had one, didn't he?
They're using them for like search and rescue, like mountains and stuff. And literally,
Oh yeah, the arm thing.
yeah,
I've
and
seen those.
literally he was just going and like zooming along.
So basically,
Like a hover
they're
pack.
like
Yeah,
they're like
yeah.
sort of jetpacks, but on your arm. Yeah, you basically just.
Yeah.
Oh,
fly
really?
It's
around.
like a little backpack thing you put on. You can just fly
But that's
around.
not a like Google gimmicky video.
No,
That's
it's a real thing. Yeah, because they've started doing it for things like sport. They're looking at doing it competitively. Having races, but people will do it. A friend of mine, he's he does presents a lot of things, and one of his like wacky new inventions kind of thing, and it's that he had a go on it.
Well, can't he just do crime fighting or something? What is
Well,
it?
they'll give it time. Yeah,
Oh, okay. What time? Talking of time, what time is it?
it is almost
look at
9.
that. Bang on,
Ooh,
9
look at
o'clock.
that. It's like we planned it.
Let's end on a nice story. What were you going to say, Charles?
I was going to say, has anyone seen the new Borat film?
I have
Oh,
not.
no, I haven't. No. So they're still making films then?
Kind of.
Just low level films.
Kind of. What?
Easy.
It
What
was made before. Oh no, it was made
It
during.
was made
Lord-
during, which is quite interesting because there's a
During
point
lockdown.
halfway through when they're like, "Oh, lockdown
right.
happened and everything, and Corona suddenly became a thing."
So I haven't seen the first one. Is that the one where he goes to New York or something?
He
Yes.
goes across America.
He's a
yeah.
politician or is
No, he's a fictional Kazaki journalist news reporter.
Yeah.
And he goes across America as a kind of almost like a cultural exchange.
He wants to have sex with Pamela Anderson.
And
as
there's
well.
that too as well. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when he goes there. He like finds.
Tries to put her in a sack. Yeah.
But he basically at a junk sale, he finds that there's like an annual or something of Baywatch or a calendar of Pamela Anderson, and then he becomes obsessed with her. That's not the reason he goes. That just becomes.
So what they've done this again, have they?
It's on Amazon, so that's why I watched it. The trailer looked terrible. The film is okay. I got a few cheap laughs out of it. I have to admit that it's been quite sort of noteworthy because it had a scene with Rudy Giuliani where he maybe
yeah.
It looks
maybe
like he's
didn't
touching himself. Yeah.
start interfering with himself when he was alone with. They set him up as an interview, like a fake interview, and afterwards he may or may not have done it. I saw the film and I watched the clip and he didn't necessarily start doing anything, but then had they let it go, because literally like Sacha Baron Cohen bursts in like when he starts sticking his hands down his trousers. And I was just like, okay, yeah, because you can't have your co-host, your co-actor get raped on camera, like sexually assaulted. That's too much in for him. Had it been him, I'm sure he would have I'm sure he would have gone with it. But like, fair enough. So I don't know. In its current form, you could argue either way, whatever. But like, he jumped up quick enough when Sacha Baron Cohen bursts in a bra and pants, saying, "Hey, don't take her, have me instead."
Oh, Jesus.
And he goes, "No, she's too young for you. She's 15.
Who was the guy that got caught masturbating on the Zoom thing? Did you hear about that? The politician.
A politician. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of.
He was a presenter. I think he was a
one of the
presenter
mainstream-
on ABC or NBC or something.
Yeah, one of the top guys.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the full details. So do you know what it was?
They had a Zoom call. It was one of these things where they had like 20 windows or whatever.
Yeah.
And they finished talking with him, and he was just like, they were like, cool. And then basically his bit was done, but he was still in the corner. And then like, he sort of lean back. It doesn't really work for audio, but you see him lean back and then start.
His arm moving.
Yeah.
God.
Eyes rolling
And he
back
has
in the head.
resigned. He's like, forget it.
Oh, is he?
There's
Has he?
nothing he said, I'm out of here.
Well, because it's super embarrassing.
Yeah,
Where do you go from
there's
that?
But it's also, why would you?
Yeah, it's the why.
If you were like, say you were like, we don't want to get into what the reasons why people touch themselves, but I mean, it's obvious. But you know what I mean? Like,
Why do people touch?
But you know what I mean? Like, okay, you're like, God, I'm really super turned on, and whatever, and maybe but why would you not wait until the Zoom call was over, or did he think he'd?
I'm assuming he thought that the Zoom call was done.
I mean, I just think he'd be whatever.
You got to
Obviously
be
not.
so careful.
I mean, I've heard news or stories of people where they're having an affair or something like that. They'll be on a Zoom call, and then someone who's not their husband or wife or whatever just walks past in a towel in the background, and they've been outed.
Yeah,
So-
like I'm just on national news. There's somebody wandering around. It's be professional. Put stickers over your camera. That's what I say. You don't need it. Where's my phone? Does nobody want a little sticker to put over your camera?
No,
I'm okay, thanks.
Oh, what's wrong with you? You've been watched. Listen, I can't even go into a queue. If there's a mirror anywhere, I'm assuming there's a camera behind it. It doesn't matter where it is. Petrol station, airport. If there's a mirror there's a camera there.
It's
I don't trust anyone.
it would be so uninteresting surveilling me.
But no, you can't
I just bought a
say
play-
I'm not doing anything, so don't worry about filming me.
No, but I just bought a PlayStation 4. Like, you're just gonna catch me sat there in a chair just playing Fallout 4 like this for like 5 hours. This isn't gonna like be
Everyone's
particularly
giving up.
stimulating.
Yeah, I
Everyone's giving
said
up.
that to my mum because I think she got one of those emails saying, "I've hacked your spam." I think it's like, "I hacked your camera. You have to give me however much in Bitcoin or whatever." And she was like, "Is it real?" And I said, "Well, no." And I said, "What are they going to do? They're going to have a middle-aged woman." I was trying to be polite about my mother. Middle-aged woman looking at her screen confused because she's forgotten how to do whatever on her laptop and needs to call me up and ask me again.
Not getting that you don't have to double click on the
exactly
on the
yeah.
hyperlink. Yeah.
I said they're just going to have you squinting at the screen trying to remember. Oh, what's the bookmark for? I think, where do I find
what
this?
password is that?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Do you remember in the what was it called? Oh bloody hell! What's the in the Cotswolds, the comedy, the two of them?
this country.
Yeah.
with a guy. He's
Oh, it's the internet.
He
Yeah.
wants it. I found there's a woman, some old fella. He says he goes to the young fella like, "There's a woman. She just needs some money to get over it." He said £13,000, and he's trying to have some time to think. And he goes, "The internet's closed on Tuesday.
You can't send money. You can't send money online.
Yeah, you send it first thing tomorrow morning." Oh, where is my phone actually? Yeah, the BBC got back to us to turn this down.
Oh,
Bursary thing. Yeah, we've had
too good for him, man.
Yeah, we've had a couple of rejection letters. One of them complimented me, funny enough, and I thought that looks like I've written that. It's like, no, it's not working. It's not for us. But Theo is very good.
Theo is very good, like, written in crayon.
So yeah, I'm disappointed at that. The bloody BBC. It seemed like they were saying it's not specific enough. But I got the feeling they did want me in a wig, saying, "Is he having a laugh?" Like, I've got a feeling it's going to get to that stage where just bow down and do it, mate.
Wigs are funny.
Yeah. Stop trying to be original. Just put this bloody wig on and fall over, and you got a deal. But yeah, so we've had two.
How does that do for your fight to make bald men not be evil all the time?
The problem is it tends to be. No, I'm forgetting that. Okay, now I'm going to say it.
Right.
So I turned something off. Literally, I turned it off because they were talking about Erdogan. Is that the Turkish fellow?
Yeah.
And I thought, is he bald?
Yeah, he's like.
But I saw they picked a picture of him, and they were slagging him off and it was quite bad. And they was talking about like, genocide. And I thought, I don't want to listen to this because I don't want that in my head. I thought Kerem's not going to agree with it, so I don't want to ask any questions. So I just pretend.
Kerem, president of the Erdogan fan club.
But they seemed very sort of.
Oh god. Yeah, but by the way,
That was a joke.
because Mesut Ozil is the president of the.
Yeah, I literally turned it off. I thought no, but yeah, he was bald, and I thought, oh yeah, I don't know what it is. What is it with the? It is the.
We were watching Adam's Family, my girlfriend and I earlier, and we were. I said, we should let him know that the bald guy goes good in the end. Uncle Fester.
Oh, I don't see.
He's a good lad. Yeah.
Spoiler alert for a film.
I was watching it today.
Which one? The new.
The first one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember Beetlejuice? That was a good film. Oh, horror. Here we go. Halloween. Back in
Ooh,
the
spooky.
That was quite a good film. Do you know when films were just films and you weren't being you didn't analyse them. It just was what it was. In fact, I saw a clip of Karate Kid. I was thinking, none of this works. This does not work at all. This is like, how's this little skinny kid thumping it? And the little man's like breaking, I'm not kidding, like railway-sized pieces of wood. Well, it's chop and it breaks. And I assumed that was all right at the time. That made sense.
That's because karate's not here. Karate's here.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all about channeling your chi.
So to end now, have you got any Halloween-y stories? I mean, you were talking about being on the London Underground. I mean, that's quite scary.
Always.
Yeah, it's quite.
Especially with you, anywhere
Yeah.
to do with public transport.
It's funny if you watch like when directors used to not be desperate and over edit everything, and you watch like American Werewolf in London with like the scene in the underground,
Yeah.
and it's just some bloke, not a lot of music.
I can assure you, this isn't the least bit funny.
But you just go, it was just done just by like good filming, like a good nice and simple, nothing happening.
Didn't have to beat people over the head with it. Yeah, with your
I
visuals.
forgot how
and
comedic when it started going like the dead fella came back to life with his mate, and I thought, I didn't remember it was being this silly.
It is a comedy. I mean, there's a horror comedy.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like the Return of the Living Dead, one of the greatest horror films.
yeah.
2, Return of the Living Dead 2. Is that what's the one with the chemical spill?
Yeah,
the gas and the
Is
graveyard.
it Nice of Living Dead 2 or Return of the Living Dead?
Send More Brains.
Yeah.
That one. I didn't know it was a comedy when I first saw it. Like I just watched it and it was like quite scary. And I watched it again. And I thought, oh yes, it's a
That's
comedy.
funny,
They're
yeah.
taking the piss. We need a good zombie film. That's what we need. We need the 28 weeks later thing to come out again. What's the next one? 21 months later.
28 months later, I believe, is the next one.
I'm talking about.
They have been talking about that for a while now.
They need to do the prequel. They need to do the 20 seconds later when it actually bursts out, and then you find out how it happens. That's my prediction.
You got a flashback.
I'm going to
though,
buy
didn't
the website up 28 seconds later, and you can sell it back to them. I had a little. Well, it's not a scam actually. I figured out something, and somebody said, "Have you done that?"
Yeah, don't admit to a scam.
No, it wasn't a scam. It wasn't a scam. So it's when the .co's came out, .co, and I was looking up the thing, and I thought, "Oh, that company. I'm surprised that hasn't got .co." So I thought, like a quid.
People did that. Yeah, people bought.
Yeah.
You talk about buying.
And there
up
was one of them
their websites
where
yeah.
I thought, right, am I missing something? Is this like a .co not a real thing? Because a lot of these massive companies one was like $1 billion company, like it sold orange juice or something like that. I thought that's like a $1 billion company. And it hasn't got its .co, and so I bought a few of them up, like a quid a piece in there. But the finance guy I was working with, I said, I'm not like last night. I saw these haven't been bought, and he went, no, they have companies that specifically deal with keeping it there. And he went, you can't have those companies thing. And I said, I'm telling you, I've just bought them up. And he said, well, you should. He said, right. He said, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to think we can get a couple of quid here, like 50 grand. I think somebody had, there was a Coca-Cola. Somebody had realised that cherry Coke or something like that, somebody had already bought it before they made cherry Coke. They realised and then sold it for like 50 grand. But he said, I know what you're trying to do. He said, there's actually a law now. You can't sit on something and not knowing, because you bought that specifically knowing, which didn't make sense to me. I mean, this is in America.
Probably
as well.
if it's a proprietary name, you can't be like, oh, well, I'm Coca-Cola
.1. Yeah.
When clearly
he said, I know
you don't own the trademark.
Yeah, because I think several. So there were like some porn sites that were very similar to other things.
Right.
I'm so glad we
Apparently.
Yeah. I heard on the internet.
Yeah, many have said. But apparently there were some, sites, porn sites that were very similar, and they were there to. So if you misspelt like something legitimate, you type in theguardian.com or whatever, and then it comes up with something.
I mean, how many variations do you buy to cover yourself? You've got.
But they stopped that. I think they actually stopped that. Because they were just like, well, this is it's like copyright.
Yeah.
You can't release a film called Blah Wars, or something,
and do nothing with it, just
or Car Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars would come along, and go, no, that's really similar. You know what I mean?
I saw, and we'll end on this.
Yeah.
One of the films, so my flicking went through, and I was literally watching it, going, "What was it?" And it was the Sharknado 2, which there was one that's worse. I'll end on that. So I was thinking, I don't even want to watch this, but how is this working? Like, what are they doing? They're flying in the sky in a tank. I don't know where this goes. I couldn't. The acting was so bad that I thought I can't physically get through this. My eyeballs will fucking dissolve. So I didn't watch it. But then one popped up, which was like an Outer Limits, but not the good Outer Limits, like the original series. It's like when they got to the 80s and
the
the
90s, they did a reboot,
and it was the Radio Jock, and it was so cheap. It was one bloke in a clearly cardboard thing, a setup, and the whole thing was just him. Like, I think he was complaining. He was complaining a lot on his radio show.
Imagine that.
And it turned out...
We're not on radio, everyone,
he was
before you
He was
start.
being angry at all the callers and being rude to them. But then they were talking to him, and it turned out like he'd gone to hell, is what he'd like gone to hell. And his hell was just like, he was horrible to everybody, and people were phoning up that he would been nasty too, and you kill me, and and he kept cutting people off. And by the end, he was just going, next caller. And I thought, this is like made for like 200 quid, and it was on like a national station.
You do sometimes
cheap.
get that though. They would do
the bottle episodes occasionally,
Or it's like those Doctor Who episodes where they don't have Doctor Who because
oh, come on.
so they can film them at the same time they're filming the rest of the series.
What do you mean?
They've only done it since the era of what's called New Who, i.e. when they brought it back, starting with Christopher Eccleston.
New Who, okay.
New Who, yeah. Because it's very confusing because it's like series 1 and you're like, I think there are about 40 series before that.
It went for about 40 years.
Yeah,
40 years, yeah.
So they call it, it's kind of informally known as New Who, and they would have these. I forgot what they called them. Those they have like an informal name for the episode as well, where Doctor Who's barely in it, and it's big. It'll focus on like, so someone will be doing. So there was one episode where I can't remember, like a group of friends, but one of them was an alien monster kind of thing, picking them all off one by one. I can't remember the exact plot of it. And Doctor Who turns up at the end to help out, because they defeat the monster without him.
Doctor Who? Is he like a registered GP?
No, he's in it. But it's just the idea is that they can film that episode at the same time they're filming episodes with Doctor Who.
So you just get loads of second unit dudes.
And they just do, and it's quite, because he can then just turn up for the one day to shoot his essentially a
just
cameo
all
of the
this
episode.
watering down, everyone making excuses, nobody doing anything right. Just be normal, just do your thing and leave it as that. Why is all this ripping everything
Well, no,
apart?
that's to save money, time and money.
You know, so I got kicked out. I got kicked out of a sandwich shop for standing up for what's right. No, you know what? I had to. So well,
I really didn't expect that.
Yeah. It's a shame because it's a shame you dropped this bombshell.
One of my horrors was having to go to the laundrette every Sunday. I said to you before, don't put heart radio or bloody magic in a laundrette. Put some rock music, get you going. I don't want to be Celine Dion. Depressing. It's depressing enough putting your bloody dirty washing in the laundrette, and they specifically pump through the most miserable.
So you want to be in the laundrette, you know, as it's putting on the spin cycle. And it's like,
jungle music
anywhere,
on.
my woman.
Have a jukebox. You know, I mean, it was embarrassing that everyone's just running to the local shops to try and buy chewing gum to get changed for the machines.
I remember there was a reality TV show set around a laundrette, and they used to look back at the CCTV footage, and there was an older woman who used to go to the toilet in the bin regularly.
Oh God.
Nice.
I think we should.
Well, saying
I
that-
think we should end on that. Really.
Right,
No,
but hang on.
yeah,
But saying
definitely.
that, this is where the kid was homeless outside with the shoes I said about last
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
I so we'll end on this. So I went into the shop, coffee shop, first thing in
This
the
is
morning.
not the laundrette. This is the sandwich shop.
Yeah, it's next to it.
Okay.
So can I have a sandwich? Blah blah blah. Standing there, it clearly says on big mask thing on the window to get 2 people. So I wait for the other person to come out. It's raining, it was drizzling. I wait because I'm doing the right thing. I go in. Someone just walks in straight behind me. So now serious. Oh, so he doesn't care. So I just stood in the rain for nothing. There's supposed to be 2. He doesn't care. So 3 people in there now. No mask on. I've ordered my stuff. He starts coughing. So the guy, he starts coughing next. Just a few coughs.
Mm.
And I'm zoning out now, where I'm not even thinking about anything other than what's going to happen now, because I'm just waiting for him to say something. So blah, 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 he's ordered something, and the bloke behind the till knows him and goes, all right, John, or whatever, do you want anything else? And I've just lost, like, I'm just focusing on him, because it's over about 3 minutes while he made the sandwich. I'm just thinking, this is so unfair. This, like, he's coughed, he doesn't give a shit. And then he went, all right, John, do you want a coffee with that? I'm thinking, so you know him? And he went, anything else? And I just snapped and said, yeah, can you get him an effing mask? And he instantly, which is, I think that he must have had this happen before, instantly went, I've got a medical condition. And I said, being a wanker ain't a medical condition, mate. And the bloke went, oh, can you leave the shop, please? And the thing is, I nearly said, can I have my money back? And I realised, as I said, I hadn't paid him anything yet.
Oh, right,
And I thought, oh, all right.
Well, maybe you did have a medical exemption.
Stop making excuses. Then, if you
I mean,
do,
it's literally called
Well,
a
okay,
medical
I'm
exemption.
him. I'm him. I've got a medical condition. I can't wear a mask. I'm
Yeah.
not going in the shop then. I can't do it. I can't force myself upon you. I've got to stay outside the shop. You got kids. You've got to scream in the shop. Don't go in the shop. Leave your kids at home. I'm not making excuses for people. You're not having no more excuses. So on that scary note.
Cool. Spooky.
Yeah, so that was basically the Halloween podcast. So it's been a bit messy because we've only just got back together. So don't know what's happening now with the coronavirus thing.
Yes, the country's about to go into lockdown.
I don't know
for
if we can do
4
that
weeks.
online videoing again. That drives me bloody up.
Yeah, it might work. We'll discuss.
Give
This
it a
is an
go.
off-air discussion. I feel. Yes.
Oh, we're not
No,
finished.
no. So let's call it a wrap then, gentlemen.
So that was Ghost. We got Louis and Alex with us. Louis, that was some tremendous audio recording there, mate.
Yes, I can tell. Yes.
He's a young guy. You got to get his confidence. Get it up. Don't worry, can't.
I'm sure when you talk about someone like that, definitely that helps with the confidence.
So that was the best audio recording I've ever heard. Louis.
Kerem's
Well,
body's not even cold.
Well,
He's leaving
he's
now.
got his confidence. He doesn't need. He's a fully paid up member. So that was Halloween. So woo!
Cool.
That was the Halloween show,
And-
and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Good times, good
Cheers.
vibes, and
See you on the other
safe,
side
yeah.
of Trump. Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger